All right.
Whew.
Cool. So yeah, I got to my laptop. I felt like it'd be better if I have the browser and shit like that.
Okay. All right, everybody. This is current events with GS, and today's series and show. I'm gonna let you introduce it. Let me catch my breath.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. So me and Joseph were talking a little bit before this. Basically just what do we really know? So today's we're just gonna talk about certain things that are just interesting, and I would just like to hear maybe if anybody else feels the same way and kind of what their thoughts are on certain things like this, right? I mean, it's interesting world that we live in. I think that's the cool thing about the internet, and we should use it more for that. That's one of my biggest things about the internet, right? Um, like I was talking to you a little bit about numerology right before this, if you remember that, Joseph.
I do. I do remember numerology. I can let me see here. I can find a numerology calculator. Now, again, we are not numerology experts. This is just
No. Well,
this is, this is knowledge we've come into.
yeah,
Numerology.
no. So it's like how much have you looked into it? Like do you have you heard about it before I brought it up?
I've heard of numerology. I've never delved into it because it seemed like it was on the side of divination, occult. And you know me. I mean, I dabble and stuff, but as a Christian, I try to stay away from that zodiac horoscopes, or at least not giving enough credence.
Yeah.
So I don't know much about it. I am a babe to numerology, but the first time I became, let me see here, introduced to numerology was when I saw this movie. I'm gonna put it on the screen.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen. Oh, you can even choose to share the audio from the thing. That's tight. Sure. When I need it. Oh, got it. So I can mute screen audio. Cool, cool. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and pull that up. So I found this movie. This was the first movie that I had seen that was talking about numerology. If you guys remember the number 23 with Jim Carrey, right? So
Oh, I've never actually seen it.
you've never seen it, bro.
I have
Yeah.
never seen it. Yeah.
I think this was the movie, when Jim Carrey did when he started kind of getting, I don't want to say weird, but 2007, number 23. If you guys remember, Jim Carrey kind of now he's like woke and shit, right?
Yeah, he's super woke. Yeah.
I think this was the movie that did it, man. Because after this, he got very like he learned, I don't know, maybe he learned the secrets of the universe, and he's never been the same since. So I found that to be interesting. But that was the first foray into numerology that I was ever aware of.
Okay, so like what in that movie, like what was the big factor with the number 23 there then?
Okay, so number 23, let's put synopsis. But basically, he was this guy. I believe, he was reading a book or something, or maybe it was
Yeah.
a script or something. Um, Go off of images, synopsis. So here, a man's Jim Carrey discovers an obscure book about the number 23, leads him onto a descent into darkness. As he becomes more obsessed with its contents, he becomes more convinced that it is in fact based off of his life. To his horror, he discovers grave consequences in store for the book's main character.
Okay. That sounds crazy. So I mean, but what did the number 23 signify in the movie then?
Um,
Do you remember or no? I
no,
just
so the number 23 was just a reoccurring number that seemed to correlate with every single thing in his life. Like
okay.
he'd be like, damn, I was born on the 23rd day of the 12th month, 12 uh, plus blah plus 11 is 23, shit like that. And it
Okay.
all seemed to kind of make sense. Like it drove him paranoid to the point where he thought his whole life was off. They think they're funny. You see that? February 23rd. The movie came out February 23rd. They think they're funny.
Perfect. You know what I mean?
Right.
Uh, no, but I mean, yeah. So I mean, so that kind of opened you up a little bit to it, and that was kind of it, huh?
Right. So that kind of gave me the first, and I didn't know what the name of it was, numerology.
Hmm.
But when I first heard about numerology again, in the conscious quote unquote sectors, I'm like, okay, so that's what that is. So we're gonna put up numerology 101, right? So this is basics of numerology, how to calculate your life path and destiny numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and put a warning here for everyone. The warning is I personally, and we do not advocate this. All right. We do not advocate numerology. We are just talking about it. Uh, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and stuff. All right. Good disclaimer. I think it was good. So we're going to crack this open. Let's see here. And then if there's anyone listening or watching that knows a bit about numerology, let us know. Hit us in the comments or in the chat. Might bring you on, as long as you're not on any crazy stuff. Because you remember what happened last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah. So since numerology is something that you brought up, did you want to go ahead and take us through it, learn how you can use your birth date and the name to easily determine your life path and destiny? So yeah, this is straight up divination. This is divination.
So what is the definition of divination? Let me look that up. The definition of divination, because what does that mean?
Divination is, mm, you
This
know
is the
what,
practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown by supernatural means.
my man. Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. You're
All
right.
right, cool. Yeah, so I mean, it could be a little bit of that. So I mean, one of the interesting things about it is like you got your birth number and things, and you can use that for your life path. Like I'm a life path number 4. Um, and you can there's like different things. There's a life path. There's this one website I have used that was pretty good. I liked it. But if you just want to get a crack at it, but more than anything, the cool significance of it for me was seeing this guy. His name here is Max Prime on Twitter right now. Matrix Prime is his name, I guess. And this guy basically what he does is he makes money um, with sport betting. So he does a lot of sport betting. That's how he basically uses numerology to figure if people are going to win games or not. He's been wrong. He's been right. But I guess he makes a lot of money with it, and so he kind of struck my interest. And he also has been doing it with the stocks lately. But one of the cool things is like if you look at anything with like the number 11, it's like
Yeah.
an emotional number supposedly. Like supposedly the master number 11 is an emotional number. So like things that happen to us emotionally that affect us negatively, like September 11 and things like that, are going to be on a number 11s.
Oh,
Even even something like let's just see. God, man, sometimes I wish I screenshot the shit I see because then he's had like 5 other Twitters. He's been blocked, unblocked, blocked, unblocked. So he's had multiple different Twitters. And there was something where he would have like the day the Federal Reserve was put in place. And then also the number 28. So like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, their both birthdays are to number 28 or something there goes to 28. Again, I don't know it specifically, but this is just from what I've read. So like the number 28 is the number of wealth. So like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos are number 28. But I mean, that's kind of hard too because there's a lot of 28s that I'm sure don't have a shit ton of money.
I just find it interesting. It seems like Nia Long in the chat knows quite a bit more than we do.
Let's go. That's what I would like to hear.
That's what I'm trying to get her on. She's like, she wants to, you
So
know,
11 is the number of opening doors. So of opening doors, so what does that specifically mean? So just like new
maybe like new opportunity. I don't know. Maybe
new
new opportunity.
opportunities.
Hold on, I'm trying to. The hell? Okay, come on. Just trying to put you right in here. There we go. So let's see. Numerology 101. Have you ever found yourself gazing at the clock? Yeah, it was 11:11 the other day. Um, have you ever found yourself gazing at the clock at exactly 11:11, wondering why you so frequently meet people born on the same day of the month, or why your lucky number turns up to be the most unexpected turns up in the most unexpected places? Interesting.
Okay, real quick thing. So look up the date of the Federal Reserve when it was enacted. So that Federal Reserve that was on the 11th. If you do all the numbers together, it's 11. It's an 11. And the interesting that if you're talking about opening doors, that open doors to something like the Federal Reserve, then, right?
Right. So wait, the date of
So the date that the Federal Reserve got put in place is December 23rd, 1913. You add that all up, you get 22. With 22, you get two 11s.
so where are you getting 22 from December 23rd?
So do one plus
Oh, in a
two,
string.
and then every single one just add it all together.
Okay. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. Wait, hold on. 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus 2 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. So 9 plus 9, 18. 18 plus 1 is 19. 19 plus 1, plus 3 is 21.
I don't know. I did it in a calculator, and if you do it all together in a calculator, one plus two is three, and then you add two, 5, and then you add 3, 8, and then you add 1, 9, and then you add 9, 18, then 1, 19, and then 3, and then you get 22.
22. Hmm.
And that's opening doors, right? If you want to,
But but 11 is opening doors. Are you saying that any multiple of 11 is opening door thing?
I'm saying it's 1111.
Oh shit. Ha! Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey, I'm letting you lead. That okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And I mean, there's just certain dates, and I wish I knew them. Like I said, this guy's put them on there, and whenever he does it, I look at it. But like I said before, I'm interested in a lot of fucking things. To be honest, I could be more attentive to one, but I'm just interested to a lot of shit. And but when I see that you can put certain dates to certain specific things, it's pretty interesting. But I mean, who knows how much of that is fishing?
Right. Well, here's this. I found a numerology date calculator. Simple date calculator. You can use the simple calculator below to determine your birth date number. Enter your birth date and select either details, personality, event, forecast. Details give the basic data about the associated number. Personality gives the meaning of the birth date number when it's personal birth date. Event forecast interprets the date as an event or a period rather than a person. Interesting. Okay. Did you, do you want to?
I mean,
Right.
at the end of the day, it's like I don't know, and that's what I mean. Like, how much do we know, right? Like at the end of the day, it's like what I don't know.
Yeah. Hold on.
Let's see the date. Coronavirus was found first. COVID-19.
Oh, smart. Yeah, let's see what's up with that.
So let's just see here. Yeah, it's crazy when you look into all this stuff, but I don't know. I've never thought I would be into because I'm not really even into astrology, to be honest.
Yeah, but what's cool is that we can talk about it and we can you
No, I
know,
mean I love the conversation about it because I mean I know that numbers was huge, like a big aspect of like back in the day, right? Like they find basically numbers as like a universal language. So
wait. You said it's a universal language? Or are you just saying
like
math
we've all
or
used
numbers or
like we've
uni-
all used numbers in some type of way
yeah?
through the ages is what I'm saying. Like there's always been like some numeric value for a while. No, like didn't they say like Egyptians, that's how they were able to figure certain things out, like when they were able to figure out where the stars were aligned to and shit like that. There's always been math,
I
is what I'm
see.
saying.
Yeah, because it says here that just as astrology, the planets and zodiac signs are connected to specific attributes within astrology. According to the teachings of numerology, certain numbers are associated with specific traits and themes, future events, insight, and personality. Allure chatted with Ofi Udut of the Astro Twins about relationship between astrology and numerology. Now, there are some really weird looking people. You know who the Astro Twins are?
No,
They're
I don't.
scary fucking looking, dude. They're
Show me some
scary,
Astro Twins, bro.
dude. Scary as fuck. Very scary. Hold on. I think this is who they're talking about, the Astro Twins. Well, no. Oh, I thought they were talking about the astrophysicist twins. Let me show you these guys. Scary as fuck. And some people say they're the ones that actually run in the top French.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
isn't
here.
there hasn't there always been the conversation of people using some type of that, voodoo, whatever you want to call it stuff, but they've always like the top people have had someone like that. Is that have you heard of
Oh,
that rumor? I mean,
I,
I've always heard that rumor as a kid, so I don't know how much that rumor is true, but that's what I would always hear about.
dude, I've heard. Yeah, aren't these people scary? Like,
Don't even look real, man.
I know that they
Whoa,
yeah.
look at that guy, man. Okay, so these are twins, huh? And what?
Igor and Grikik Bogdov.
So these
Uh,
guys just do astrology, professional astrologers or something?
yeah, so they presented various subjects in science fiction, popular science, and cosmology. Notably, the Bogdov, they were French twin brothers. They used to be television presenters, producers, scientific essayists, and they wrote nonsensical advanced physics papers that were nonetheless published in reputable scientific journals. So they're like uh I don't know how to so this is them before the craziness.
Yeah. So I mean, they just use things like that. So I mean, but that's always been the case, right? Like, so, well, because I mean, even the Bible talks about it, right? Doesn't the Bible bring that stuff up? That there's always going to be that?
What numbers?
no, not numbers, but like always people that are going to be using things
Oh, like magic and
like magic and shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, a great example of that. Hate to bring it up, and I don't even want to. I doubt it's gonna. We're not gonna say the name, but we're gonna. But you know what I'm talking about? World War. You know,
Okay.
yeah, that guy who fled to the Antarctica, supposedly, um, had a whole bunch of scientists that once he lost the war, they all went to different nations like Russia, Germany, well, Russia,
Argentina.
United States, yeah, Spain, UK, and yeah. So a lot of people said they were into dark arts. Um, the what was it? The creator of NASA, he was a
Yeah.
scientist for this guy.
Well, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I remember that. Yeah, that happens with the trials and basically yeah, NASA's top first scientist was an SS general. Like
Yeah,
it's he was a Nazi straight up.
yeah,
And I do remember that. And even if you look at parts of Argentina, they have like this little German town. I'm sure you heard of it. There's like, actually
yes,
like even rumors of like finding Hitler there. But
yeah,
I'm not denying that part is there. And I'm
yeah,
sure like if you haven't heard about it, dig it up. But what
yeah.
I'm getting into here is if what I'm trying to bring up is the Bible brought it up. So I mean, there's always been something about astrology, numerology, and things like that. That's kind of been even in old times, like magic, like this type of magic of witchcraft, witch hunters and things like that, right? This has been existing for a very long time.
Well, I think we need to be very specific about what exactly you're saying, because to say that there's like a biblical numerology, we would have to like be very careful with that. Like, be if can you expound on that more? What exactly you're talking about?
I don't
That
know exactly what the Bible says. I'm not saying I know, but I'm saying that I know the Bible is against, I believe, all this type of stuff.
Yes, yes, divination, things that aren't not of God or not of the Spirit of God. You have divination, witchcraft, pagan, usually pagan worship, pagan nature worship, worshiping the stars, anything that has to do with sort of like astrological or anything that doesn't pertain to God or getting one's blessings or power from God is essentially off limits.
And I mean, I find that interesting though. I mean,
Yeah, but expound on that because I would agree. I had a debate with somebody on Facebook not too long ago about they were trying to say magic and miracles from the Bible are the same thing, and I vehemently disagreed, and we had to break it down. So yeah, go talk on that.
no, I mean, I'm not saying they're the same thing. The reason that to me is because I mean, God would be someone that you would be able to like have hold on, give me a minute.
Yeah,
So the thing with that is like the Bible sees a lot of things, right? Like the Bible says a lot of things that are true. It's a very good book. Like I follow it. You know what I mean? Like I've read it. I've
yeah,
not read all of it, but it's a great book. But when
right.
I hear that, to me, that's like, I feel like that goes against what the Bible even means in a certain way. And the reason that I mean that is because if you're telling me to ignore things that are just interesting in nature because it's part of this environment that we're in, right? Like numbers, whatever this is, because like the reason I was talking about numerology was if all this shit correlates and goes to one another, like with Elon Musk talking about today with Joe Rogan, it's like you can kind of see why people have this thought process of this being a little bit of what do they call it? A simulation. Maybe not a simulation, maybe something that we don't understand from that nature. But I'm saying that it's interesting how our world is. It's more interesting than we even fucking know. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like it's just an interesting world, and I feel that that part of it is interesting to me from the Bible, just because I feel like it's a little bit of against what I feel is in it, but I mean, I could be wrong because there's a lot of different things that I feel like sometimes are contradicting each other in certain ways, but then there's different things. So I don't know
Mhm.
completely. What I'm saying though is that it's interesting in the fact that there's something there that we don't understand. And I mean, like the problem with the Bible, and this is one of my biggest things with it that I is the translations that it's gone through. Like, how much knowledge did we really lose in translations? How many people got in there with different opinions? You know what I mean? Like, have you ever thought of that, or is that just
You know what, I had that same question, and I asked my father about it because he used to be a deacon, and shit, I didn't even know that was way before I was a little kid when that happened, like 2 or 3, so I don't even remember that, but he would tell me, I would ask him about what about the lost books, what about the apocrypha, stuff like that, what about the books that aren't in it that were taken out, does that hamper the legitimacy of the Bible? And he said something very my dad, man, he's smart. He said something very interesting. He said, if you feel like you're missing anything from the Bible, then learn the languages of the times when the Bible was written and when it was in its earliest form. Simple as that. People complain about or bring criticism to the Bible in regards to, oh, it's been translated over hundreds of times, 50 times, and from this language to this language. So, yes, we all play the telephone game. We know how that works. But I mean, if you want to read it for what it was from the source, then learn Aramaic, learn Hebrew, learn whatever they learn, ancient Roman, whatever they spoke, and you will get it in either its purest form or its least diluted form. But are people intellectually, uh, are they intellectually, um, are well, I don't know the right word to say, but are they willing to put in the effort, or are they going to continue to be intellectually lazy and say, I don't believe it because it's been translated, instead of learning the language it was initially written in? So that
no?
would be
So
my
I'm not.
criticism.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I mean, you could definitely go that route. I mean, what is that? I mean, you're right. If it's such an issue, you could do that, and I'm not disagreeing with that. I know Hebrew. Yeah, you can teach it. I mean, you can learn it, but I mean, how many years has this Bible gone through? Is what I'm saying. Like, do you think like I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. At the end of the
Well,
day, but anyways, what I'm trying to get at. I mean, I'm not trying to have a discussion of that because that's not. I mean, that's regardless, right? I can't sit here and act like I know a significant amount of this subject,
yeah.
but I know that certain issues like that are interesting to me. Certain things like the Catholic religion, being able to hold on to a Vatican basically filled library, right? I mean, and that you can't even go in there. And if you want to go in there, you got to say specifically what you're going in there for and what you're going to research, and someone's going to go in there with you, and you have to know what it is. You can't just go in there.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting as into how the rules and how that portrays. I mean, I just know that certain hands that sometimes I'm like, man, but these guys are kind of fucking a little bit off. Had a lot of like let's just be honest, like the Catholic religion had a pretty good control of the
Oh yeah.
Bible for a second. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely. I agree. I think the secrecy of the Catholic Church when it comes to the Vatican archives in the catacombs and things of that nature, that's just them trying to hold on to ancient knowledge and only be able to use it for their own benefit. The
Yeah.
Catholic Church has always done that historically. I mean, if you remember back in the day, what did they used to do? The Catholic Church back in Spain, um, before, I think it was before the Pope made it. I was watching, I don't know which Pope it was, maybe it was Pope Francis. Before Pope Francis straight up allowed the Bible to be manufactured in mass so people can read it for themselves, yeah, they'd have to go to mass and get the Bible from them. They were information brokers. The Catholic Church was information brokers, and there was no way to independently verify what if your learning is true. another parallel to that would be just like, slaves that were indoctrinated by the Bible. I hear that argument all the time. Joseph, how can you, be into the white man's religion? Blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, listen. The Bible that they were using to teach slaves was a amended Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not the whole thing. Everything was taken out of context. So I definitely agree with you from a point of view that there is a level A of information that is held back from people, and a lot of religions teach people to believe them and not really search and verify for themselves.
Exactly. And that's the problem that I have with it. And it's like I feel like maybe sometimes like some religions got in there and they were able to treat those words to make it talk like that for that specific reason. Because I mean, I look at it like if God came, if Jesus Christ came here down and forgave me for all my sins, what has been said.
Right.
Every other religion has like some type of formulation kind of similar to this, or some type of acceptance, right? Like that's kind of the thing in most religions. It's like acceptance, kind of peace, and oneself, right? That's the big thing,
Okay.
right? Serenity or whatever they call. So that's what was taught made mainly. So I mean, for whenever I hear like that, because sometimes you bring this up and people be like, "Oh, that's like of the devil," right?
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, but it's interesting regardless because it's not of the devil. I think the devil is maybe fear of whatever it is, but fear is the devil, right? Like in my mind, because that's a negative emotion, and I feel that the devil is in the negative. That's how I feel. That's in my mind, God and all that is in the positive, and then the negative is the devil, and that's going to be that goes down to science, right? Pros and negatives.
Right.
So the way I
But
see that is,
sorry, I don't. I
go
know.
ahead.
Let you get to your point. But do you really believe that?
Do I believe that? I believe that I don't know. I
Okay.
believe that God is not what is portrayed when I was a kid. Like
Boom.
what
Okay, I'm with you on that.
like when I was a kid, God was portrayed as Big Papa. You know,
Right.
you know what I mean? You got Big Papa
Yeah.
up there, and Big Papa kind of look like Mufasa, got a white beard, and that's him, and he got
Real.
angels up there.
For real. Yeah.
So, as a kid, that's what I envisioned.
Right.
Now I feel like God is in the universe, like it's all around me. Like like we got stuff like let's I use science to kind of make myself understand it more because I
Gotcha.
need that type of breakdown. So for me, like there's black matter all around us, right? There's energy, even if we don't see it, even if we don't feel it, it's around us.
Yeah. The
We're-
ether. Yeah.
yeah, we're all an electric energy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read books like Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill, Get Rich or Die Trying, all these books, it talks about a positive and a negative.
Right.
And it even talks about it in the Bible. There's like the
Yeah.
right things to do. Like, of course, there's positive in life. Like, if you don't kill, yeah, you probably got good karma coming, man. Like you just killing motherfuckers to kill motherfuckers. That's probably not good.
Right.
Like there's positive and negative. So in my mind, I feel that like God is all around us, and I feel like basically the fear and all that is the devil. And I feel like that the reason I feel that is it's a negative energy, and if it's a negative energy, it's in the wrong side of what God would be. So if you're telling me anything that can make me a little bit smarter as a person and as a human, as a soul, to better understand the universe that I'm in, that I should be fearful of that or not do that because it's bad,
Right.
then I feel like that's a negative thing that doesn't sound like something. I mean, I feel that people that are ready for it are going to be able to understand it, and people that aren't. That could probably be true.
Mm-hmm.
But to say that it's negative, I don't know. But does it bring negative energy? That's another thing because the universe is so fucking interesting. Maybe that shit brings negative energy. I don't know.
Well, I'll be honest, Ren. GS, you're a deep brother, man. You're a
I
deep.
am. I am, bro. I apologize. Sometimes like I kind of
No,
go off
don't
on a
ever apologize.
little.
You got my mind going a mile a minute. I actually want to delve into this a bit because this is fascinating. My brain is on fire right now. So okay, so basically, your perception of God at this point is not a singular Big Papa type being. You're understanding and relationship with God has evolved to the point where you understand he or it is an omnipresent force that lives in all things and is representative of the good and positive matter in this world, and that anything that is of consequence or negative energy would be of the adversarial opposing force. So the idea of us being told from a religious standpoint of view and a Bible standpoint of view that there are certain things we should not dabble in, which may not inherently to you be bad because it is of the universe, basically an aspect of God. We are being told by the Bible not to engage in certain aspects of what we you would consider is the universe, aka God. You're saying that in itself is an inherent contradiction in your eyes because it may not inherently be bad. Because if God made it, how can it be bad?
Yeah. So I mean, exactly. So that's my interpretation, but my interpretation is just there's positive and there's negative, man. And I feel like the positive energy is like when I'm not fearful. Like I know like part of it is all a control in the brain and how we think. Like in God it says, in the Bible, I mean it says, one, if you believe it, it can happen. It
Right.
says it. If you truly, truly fucking believe it, it could happen.
True.
But
Um,
what makes it hard to truly believe in something? The
Not knowing.
fear,
Yeah.
not knowing,
Yeah.
the fear, the I might not make it. You're already doubting yourself.
Yep. Yes.
Now
Doubt,
that's
fear,
now
uncertainty. Yeah.
that's the negative energy. And
Hmm.
that's the shit that pulls you down from that positive energy to get you to where the fuck you need to go. If you really want it, it will happen. Like if you really want to eat, you'll find enough food to fucking eat.
Right.
If you
Instead of,
really, you know what I mean?
yeah. It's the difference between somebody that won't leave an area because they know food's there, and then one day something happens and there's no longer food there, but they stay in that area hoping that food will magically appear. When you'll have an individual that was in that area that decides to venture off in search of food and actually finds food, and then they end up returning and the other person had perished from starvation.
Exactly. You, you know, like, and then some of the things that we always say is, God got it. No, I mean, God got it. God's no matter what, we're moving. You're right about that. The universe is going, but you have all the power to do it with the power of it. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's a two thing. I feel like you have. To, it's hard because you have to like. I don't know, man. It's a crazy theory, but the more that I read books, the more that I look at certain things, the more that I read the Bible and I dig into these things and my mind wanders, this is what I come up with. And it just makes sense.
Okay.
Because I
And
mean,
yeah,
what
go
are we?
ahead.
We're energetic beings, right? Like we're all energetic beings.
We're energy beings in meat vehicles. Yes.
Exactly. The world is filled with energy and it's all connected and it's all flowing through us. Our food is energy,
Right.
right? Our habits, our brain, everything is connected to some type of thing. And, like where does it come from? We don't really understand black matter. We don't really get that shit yet. We know it's there. We know it kind of has like a DNA type of like a type of vibe to it. From what I've read, I could have precipitated it wrong as well. Like I said, I never try to be a genius. Just what I come up in my head.
Hey,
And
the thing about real talk, real people, it's like you say whatever you want, bro. You could be right or wrong. We find the answer. Shit, it's good.
exactly. So I mean, that's kind of my correlation with that. But I mean, the reason I brought up numerology with that was just because it seems like there could be something like with numbers, like in some type of code, and then that goes back to the simulation theory. And there's multiple ways you can go about it, but it's just interesting. And I can see why Jim Carrey would lose his fucking mind after that movie if he got deep into numerology.
Yeah.
Maybe he maybe he did figure something out. Like, oh fuck.
Have you ever seen that interview with him on the red carpet?
I did see him. Yeah, he was trippy than a motherfucker. I mean, I
Yeah.
loved Jim Carrey as a kid, man. As a kid, that was my dude.
Oh, of course, man. The
Like
mask.
The Mask, Ace Ventura. Dude, Ace
Yeah.
Ventura, that shit was on freaking replay, dude. I love that shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, interesting,
Yeah.
interesting to see that guy do that. Because I mean, yeah, like his art pieces are great too. He's really good at art. I guess that's been
Oh,
his
I
big
haven't,
thing.
I haven't seen his art.
Um, but yeah, man, I feel like we're just in a big world, and it's like, what do we know? Because it's like, if this shit exists, this is where it gets interesting. I
Okay.
am a mere fucking, you can say, at this moment, I am at the bottom of the percent of the pool, right? And then you got this 1% group who
Mhm.
have way much more of a database, probably way more intelligent people around them, way more interesting conversations like this, way more knowledge. How much do people know at the top that we don't know? And if all this shit is, maybe let's just say somebody can actually break it down to you and they can be certain and actually tell you that this is what it is, like numerology, this is the way this works. It's actually really thing. Like, let me show you how this works.
Mhm.
How much can you dabble with that?
Well, from what perspective? As a someone being at the bottom, is that what you're saying?
Someone being at the top. So I'm saying, like, okay, we got this COVID-19 thing.
Right.
How much do they know that we don't know?
You know what? I can actually show you. You want to see? I can actually show you.
Like,
That's funny you said that. I'm going to show you something very interesting. Did I send this to you? I don't even know if I sent this to you. I think you'll find it interesting. We'll watch this right now. You're going to find this fascinating.
let me see.
You're going to find this fucking fascinating. Let's see here. It's going to be a little scary, though. So,
Man, I'm used to getting my mind blown a little bit, so I'm not.
all right.
But
I'll warn you. Okay.
But I
All
mean, like that's the stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? Like we got people like that. Like, okay, have you ever looked into? Okay, we'll start this off, and then we'll get into what I was gonna say.
Well, actually, I want to speak on what you were talking about before the aspect. Well, I guess we can go into the simulation talk. Let's do the simulation talk before we get into this.
Okay.
Um, so if we're going with the narrative that this is indeed a simulation and that numerology plays the role of bringing you in line or being effectively the quote unquote cheat code to the simulation to have a more fruitful life in existence, then I can see where you're coming from that standpoint of view, if that's what you're asserting. But um, I think with anything, power is a double edged sword, not a double edged sword, but it's the it's not inherently evil or bad. It's amoral, right? It's about who the user is.
Who has it? Yeah.
Yes. Just like magic, it's about the user and the intent.
And how
So,
much power can drive a motherfucker crazy? Who knows, right?
exactly. So, I think that's why, from a biblical standpoint of view, if we bring it back to that first, and then we'll go into simulation. That's why I think I have these verses up here. These are all verses that talk about like don't turn to like look Leviticus 19:31. Don't turn to mediums or necromancers. Don't seek them out, and so make yourself unclean by them. I'm the Lord your God. But as for the cowardly, faithless, detestable murderers, sexually immoral, sorcerers, adulterers, they're going to burn, blah, blah, blah. Believed, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, for many false prophets have gone into the world. So these are just a few examples. Uh, you shall not permit a sorceress to live. So what is being told here from a biblical standpoint of view? The point of view is that you shouldn't mess with forces that you don't understand. Basically, it's like, trust me on this one. Don't mess with this stuff because there's a chance, it could be beneficial. Okay. or there's a chance that you will get so messed up or into something that you have no understanding or control over, and it will take you over. I can give you a recent example of this. Um, I can actually, and I know you've heard of this. I'm going to pull this up. You'll see it on the screen. And this is a prime example of why these things are in the Bible, telling people to, chill on all the magic and stuff. You heard about this, right?
Jordan Thriller? No, go ahead and dive in it.
Okay. So this chick, this white girl in Virginia Beach, dead after summoning voodoo god Papa Legba, right?
Yep.
This chick, she's a witch, she's a sorceress. Well, let's read it here. White girl in Virginia Beach is dead after summoning the voodoo god. The Virginia teen named Caitlin Reston tried to summon the guy by burning a voodoo doll on March 29th. People warned her not to, but she told people to let her live. Let people live and have their own religion. If someone is to something different, accept that. Stop saying, no, you come from God. I'm Wiccan. I always will be. So shut the F up and let me be. And then she does that. She burns it, tries to summon this guy. And then that was on March 29th. April 17th, she says, I've seen blah, 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 and I'm scared. That was on Twitter, I guess. April 17th, she claimed she saw the voodoo god and was very scared. No one took her cry seriously. On April 19th, she was found dead in her mother's home, age 19, just 2 days later. The cause of her death is still can't be explained. The Virginia teen, only dying 2 days after she saw the voodoo guy, makes most people think it had something to do with her death. Add this to the fact that she was 19, died on April 19th, as all points to the voodoo Haitian murdering the Virginia Beach teen. A little numerology there for you. Hopefully, more people don't try to summon this guy like the Virginia teen did. Rest in peace. So, I don't know. You sound like you don't know much about, but if you ask any Haitian,
No,
who
I've
this
heard about voodoos.
yeah,
Yeah.
or Creole person, they're gonna tell you about this dude. That's that these are forces you don't mess with. And that is why a lot of people look at it as like God or the power structure saying, "Hey, you don't want to mess with these things," thinking that they're trying to keep you from attaining a level of power, which is true. There. It's just like you said. There's a positive and negative to it. If you listen to the government, stuff like that, they're going to say, don't mess with this stuff because, blah, blah, blah. This can happen. And it's true, it could. Or you can use it the same way they're doing it and take control over your life and not be held to their whims. Or you can look at it from a biblical standpoint of view or whatever your religion is. And it clearly says, don't mess with this stuff because you will become unclean. Unclean means you'll be tainted and you will be subject to the forces that you are trying to control or bring forth.
Which
Clearly,
is
if she had not have done that, clearly she would not have died. I learned about him in college. I know that's
I just,
real.
I just I just pulled up this girl just to make sure she died because I was thinking in my head like, how do you know that she died for real? You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't trust that shit. But
No,
she
always.
does have an obituary, and I did see that, which is very interesting. It said that she died from Xanax and pills, but it's interesting that she said this and then that happened. That's a
Right.
hell of a correlation. Um, so I mean,
Exactly.
there's dark forces, what you're saying, and I mean, I 100% believe that there
Right.
is dark forces, and I 100% believe that if there is, it's not something that is probably not in a good nature is it mostly used. I'm pretty sure there is good witches out there,
Hmm.
just like there is bad ones.
Right.
Um, but
But that's what happens when you die.
but what I'm saying is, okay, this lady, she don't know what the fuck she's doing. Right?
Right.
She died, whatever. Let's just say that she died. She don't know what the fuck she's doing.
Right.
But now you got somebody who's been doing this for years and their family's been doing it for years. Because like there has to be that person. A
Right.
couple of them. Family
Right.
for generations, for generations, for generations have been doing this, and they're working with these very top people. And well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do they know? Because I mean, when I hear about this shit, to be honest, I think it's a bunch of like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, but I've heard stories. My dad has told me stories. So I mean, part of it is like, yeah, but then part of it's like, well, there's enough stories to make you kind of wonder. And if that's the case, can you imagine the people with the 1%? Is kind of what I was getting at.
No, I get what you're getting at, and that makes sense. It's like having the ability to own a gun, and the difference is those at the top have had so much more experience shooting, aiming, and taking advantage and knowing how to use that gun. And you have people like yourself, well, not like yourself, but like a person that's never held a gun, doesn't know how to clean a gun, doesn't know how to cock a gun, and they end up hurting themselves. The people at
Yeah,
the top are never going to teach you how to properly utilize these
use these
powers, whether
tools.
yeah, whether it's numerology or whatnot, whether it's summoning spirits, whatnot, whether it's astral projection, whatnot. They'll never teach you because they don't want you to attain the level of power, quote unquote, that they have. So I definitely see where you're coming from.
But where I was getting into after that was like what I was trying to say before we get into this video. Now that we're here, is basically like how the government has been able to use like certain things, even like science, to like their like MK Ultra and all that other stuff that we talked already. Like we know these things, so I mean it's just interesting because all that information they've gathered, we still don't know about it. What they use on TVs, like if you I don't know if you watched that documentary Out the Shadows, and our movies, the
Yeah, that was good.
CIA was completely in with Hollywood directors. Interesting as fuck.
Well, that's why we're about to jump into this. We're going to get into the opening ceremony of the Olympics Games 2012 was predictive programming for the COVID.
Get the fuck out. Let's see.
2012. Okay,
I,
watch.
I
Fucking crazy. Sorry about the quality. Right. Better
like
than the
that.
news.
Better than the news, bro. The news will fucking lie to you, man.
We are the
Dude,
news. Shit.
bro, like even Elon Musk, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Elon Musk, he's a little bit weird, smart fucking guy. But even this guy, he's like, dude, they've been playing us. They broke it down financially. And it just makes sense. Like we talked about before this show. Eight
Yeah.
thousand dollars for every single patient because it's in the stimulus package. 30,000 you get a ventilator. That's part of the stimulus package. So all this shit is part of the stimulus package. It's not just a conspiracy theory. This is a billionaire who makes a shit ton of money who's read the documents and says the exact same thing. We can all read these documents. That's what they are. They're real. That's interesting
Yeah.
because
No, when I listened to
it
the
increases numbers with money. Because if your hospital needs money or you need to lay off doctors, what are you going to pick? Money or lay off your doctors?
they're gonna pick the money.
Of course, they're not going to want to lay off their doctors.
Yeah.
So or they're not going to want to go. They're not going to want to miss out. certain hospitals could be doing just fine and just want to take the cash. Who knows? But there's an incentive. It's a fucking sales incentive. You know what I mean? I'm in sales. You give me a bonus, I'm going for the bonus. You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting because I mean, like those numbers are there, they're real, but you try to tell people that, and
Well,
people are like, "But the news, why would the news be lying to me?" And I'm
right.
just like, I can't make you not believe what you're watching. If you believe it so hard, I can't. If you don't have an open mind, I can show it to you. But if you're stubborn and you don't have an open mind, then
Well, you know what? Let's since we're on that subject, let's go ahead and hop on that.
what
Uh,
I would say.
let's see what this says. How hospitals were incentivized to diagnose patients with COVID-19. This was April 28th, 2020. 3 minutes. Dr. Mark Siegel addresses a 20% add-on payment hospitals receive for treating coronavirus patients if this may have led to fraud. Hmm.
We've learned that apparently hospitals make more money if
And where
their
is that from?
Fox News, believe it or not.
being treated for coronavirus, even patients that have not been tested. Ainsley.
The stimulus deal created a 20% Medicare add-on payment for
So the
COVID.
stimulus deal created a 20%
This was at the best.
Medicare add-on
Isn't
payment.
that what Elon said?
So for Medicare specifically, that's patients that get assistance from the government, right?
Right.
And so any Medicare patient, you get 20% add-on payment for COVID-19 patients.
Right.
And that is exactly what Elon Musk was saying. And that's why I found it pretty interesting that they were doing that incentive. Like I told you, I
Yeah.
mean, it's any business that's a business. I mean, if you're most likely going to take the incentive.
Yeah. Yeah. And I watched part of the interview yesterday and I finished the whole thing today around like 12 p.m. And yeah, what Elon was talking about was interesting. Everything from the Neuralink, but specifically what you
Oh, yeah,
just
the Neuralink.
the 20%, it just makes sense. Elon thinks this is all overblown, and that these incentives
Yeah.
being done. I read the CARES Act as well, and yes, this provision is in there. But people don't read.
And I mean, it's not to like one of the main things is not to like dismay like the people that have passed away from any of this or have been affected by it, but it's like I'm not saying that it's not real because obviously there is a virus, right?
Right.
But there's obviously misinformation when it comes to numbers and the information that we're given, especially from news sources that we're depending to give us the right information, because even the information that we're getting from the doctors is not even really correct because they're incentivized and the numbers are being higher than what they're supposed to be. Like people dying from COVID-19 deaths because just they didn't even get the test. You had symptoms of COVID-19. And the reason that they say they can justify that is because we don't have enough tests to go around.
Right.
So I mean that's just like very interesting on how that is incentivized. So I mean that's the part where it gets all skewed and it gets fucked up. So that's why I say like there is a virus, but more than anything, this whole fucking theatrics that we have going on is just the thing to make people get on fear. You got to get people back in fear. So that's like another thing with numerology. They're saying that every this year is like a reset year. Like the last 2008 was a reset year. This is another reset year.
Yeah.
So like that, because he predicted that this was some shit like this was going to happen last year. He said 2020, people are expecting the collapse in 2019. It's going to happen in 2020. And
Right.
then when it happened, he said that it was because every single 12 years, it's a reset year.
No,
That's what
that
he
sounds
mentioned.
right.
So with the reset, that's probably reset financially because obviously this is going to affect people financially, businesses financially. It's going to affect our rights because we're going to lose rights. Um, but it's interesting because then also that 12-year things. I just went to 1996. There's not really shit that happened in 1996, so that I
Well,
remember.
yeah, I mean, it could be that, but I didn't hear about that. I heard that 2019, 1919, and 1819 all had pandemics. That was what I was aware
I
of.
did hear about that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you must be talking about something different. I had not heard about that. But that sounds
No, it was just saying something about like a reset year, and he's used the two things as examples was these two last 12 years. But I'm saying in 1996, I can look up what happened. But I mean, I was only 6 years old, so I really don't remember if anything happened financially. But I thought at that time it was booming.
right. Well, I
But anyways, this is interesting as fuck, ain't it?
yeah, it is. And they're reporting about this now, but bro, didn't we report about this like a month ago in the stream?
We did talk about this a month ago, 100%.
So it's like, guys, come on, we are the news. Get on it. We're not, you know. But yeah, but here's an other interesting angle to this as well. I don't know if you heard about Tanzania's president, but
Oh, you did send me that. Yes, I did look into it. Yes.
yeah. So you guys see here that Tanzania's president indicates uh, tests were found to be faulty after goat, sheep, and pawpaw fruit samples test positive for COVID-19. So what happens was they were given these tests to give it to their citizens, and
Those
black
garbage
folks, man,
fruit.
black
That's
folks.
just so wild, bro.
Right, right. It's like, hold on, we gonna test these, and they chose pawpaw fruit, uh, sheep, and goat, and they were all positive. So yeah, yeah, something's going on.
They're over there like, here, get we gotta get your country involved. These are all gonna be positive.
Right. He's
I
like, you
mean,
are not gonna do us like that.
dude, it's like I said, it's a plan, but it's more than anything. The issue though is that whenever people talk about like what do you do after this, right? Like whatever, it's planned. What's the solution? Let's just say all this lines up. We're all pissed off. It's all true. We're like motherfuckers. What's the deal here? We want answers. How do we get answers? What's the solution to this? How do we bring this to the attention to the people that hey, I want shit to be fucking different. What the fuck is this? Like this is bullshit. How do we do that? We're billions of people. I mean, we don't need to be violent. It's a question. You get what I'm saying? But how do we get multiple people to think the same way and actually ask this question up front as well? Hey, I don't understand. This is bullshit. You know it. What the fuck is the deal? Or I want answers.
Well,
But what are we gonna get? Probably lies. People
people
are gonna
got
forget
people
about it.
those questions and follow up
People,
on them. You know.
yeah, people gonna forget about it. Life goes on. Still gotta pay the bills. It's like it's all set up in a way where you're too busy to do anything.
Right.
Go ahead and journal it all you want, but good luck getting people to do something about it.
Right. And that's the thing, and that's why I believe it's going to fall on people like you, me, people, the millennials, to really hold people to task. Because the baby boomers, the Gen Xers, they've checked out, they've given up. The Gen Zers, they're growing up in this, so this seems normal to them. It's almost like we're the only ones that have the fight left in us to keep things from going awry.
Yeah. No, 100%. You're right, dude. I mean, we need people who can do that and be open and have these platforms to be utilized. Because I mean, like, this is all we got is our voice, right? I mean, the power is this. I mean, and people are waking up more than ever, though. That's the one cool thing about it.
Yeah,
And I mean, there's a lot of ideas out there, and that's the problem. Is there's so much misinformation, but everybody is woken up to a point where they're second guessing shit and they're actually asking questions.
right.
So because of that, we're in a learning phase. Because I mean, we all get information from multiple places. Some of us don't check our sources. Like there's conspiracy theories that you're like, what the fuck? But I get it. Because when you get been so much just lied by the government and the shit's facts, you start disbelieving in shit, and because you start disbelieving in shit, you maybe could believe stupid shit, but you're just looking for truth. That's the
Right.
process of looking for truth. Like even Obama, I believe if you want to look up, Obama looked up a way, or they built a unit to basically get in the conspiracy theorists section of the world just to throw people off and give disinformation. So they believe QAnon or QAnon, whatever the fuck
Whoa,
that
whoa, whoa! You're trying to say QAnon is a Obama
psyop.
conspiracy psyop?
Yep.
What?
And I'm not the only one that says that. There's multiple people that have said that, and Obama has been quoted to have said that he would want to throw something to get into the circle and give disinformation. So they believe that QAnon, whatever the hell that's called, is a psyop. And I mean, because they're what is their goal? Liberty, up in arms, shit like that, right? What would that shit do?
Well, hold on. What do you know about QAnon?
So QAnon, they've done a lot of reporting on conspiracy theories as well. They've been on Twitter. I mean, I know that they've done a couple things. I can't exactly say everything, but here, let me do a quick search.
Okay. Yeah, let me tell you what I know about QAnon. Okay.
So
QAnon.
they're far right. They're
Go,
far right. They're far right conspiracy theory detailing a supposed secret plot by a lying deep state against U.S. President Donald Trump and his supporters. The theory began within an October 2017 post on the anonymous image board 4chan. 4chan is the big guy, yeah, by someone using the name Q. So basically, these people have classified information involving the Trump administration and its opponents in the United States. Q has falsely accused many liberal Hollywood actors, Democrat politicians, and high-ranking officials of engaging in an international child trafficking ring. So they're completely against this, right? Which is interesting. The reason I say this is interesting. So they're completely far, you know, and attacking this guy.
what guy?
So they're attacking Trump, right? They're attacking Trump, George Soros. Oh no, Donald Trump is basically the savior, and basically George Soros, Barack Obama, and all these guys are like the evil persons, right?
Right.
So that's their thing. But if you think about it, why would you want this? If you were Barack Obama or any Democratic or any person on the left, why would you want this?
Yes. Take me through the logic. I'm listening.
So the reason that you would want this would be this disinformation makes these people truly believe in a person, idealize somebody like Donald Trump, completely get pissed off at us and stir shit up. Right now, we're going into an election year. It's been pretty peaceful and pretty quiet because of the coronavirus thing going on.
Hmm.
But we know that no matter which side, dude, any let me put it this way, simple fucking terms. Any person that is one-sided, like QAnon, being one-sided to completely one group and saying that the right is pretty basically good,
Hmm.
is a bad fucking idea in my mind because they're both fucking bad. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
They're both. They're both. They both have lied. They're both politicians, Democrats, Republicans, wherever you want to be. They both bullshit.
Right.
You can find dirt on both of them.
Right.
That's why people don't believe shit.
Right.
But now the problem is that people follow the Democratic so much because they believe the Democrats are actually going to bring them this money and this social equality and all this bullshit. But let's just think about it. If they get what they want, socialism and all this shit and equalness, because that's basically what it would be if we want to basically make these people happy and get this idea of everybody having wealth, then you control more people if you have a universal income.
Right.
So in my mind, is disinformation to stir up the other side. So you stir up the right. Imagine how the right are, man. How angry are they? How angry are the left? Like we are kind of in a little bit of a tension state. I mean, when it comes to elections lately, would you agree?
Yeah, I do think it is on some gangland shit. I do agree.
You know what I mean? Like motherfuckers are repping red and blue hard, bro.
Yeah. Which set you up, cuz? But yeah, I mean, it is kind of gangland. A lot of people are getting angry with one another, and I do think it boils down to, um, one person thinking the other side is doing something when they're both complicit. When all the smoke clears and when behind closed doors, you got them going to the same parties, hanging out with the same people, having dinners together, laughing at everybody. All these people are actors, man. They're actors.
I'm gonna try to look up Obama behind QAnon and see if I can find this. So, what were your thoughts with Obama? We never really talked about that. Because I mean, Obama, I know a lot of people were happy with him. So, what were your thoughts on him?
Well, this is what I'll say in regards to what I think about Obama and Q. I'm trying to go through my head, go into my head. I'm trying to think, why would Barack Obama be behind a disinformation campaign to attack liberals as well as himself? Because the again, like you said, Pizzagate instigates and says that these people are part of a child pedophile ring, right? So why would Barack Obama be behind the QAnon conspiracy, quote unquote, when and put out information saying that he's a pedophile and that he and other of the corporatocracy are into this? They're doing blood sacrifices, rituals, drinking adrenochrome, a whole bunch of other stuff, spirit cooking, all that stuff, right?
Yeah,
Why? I'm trying to think in my head. Why would he do that, and what would be the cause to do that?
perfect reason. Everything that QAnon has actually predicted, or whatever the fuck they have done, their conspiracy theories, they don't have no real hard facts as of yet. No real information. Nothing that has really shaken shit up. Nothing like that has happened. It's all just been strictly, specifically conspiracy theory related. Just theory.
Well,
So,
actually,
hold on, because I know you want to get into Pizzagate. I know you get into Pizzagate. I'm
no.
not okay. Regardless, there is theories that people do question. I'm not saying that they're not real, but I'm saying that the shit at the end of the day hasn't brought anybody down. Obama's not down. Hillary Clinton's not down. Joe fucking Biden, dude. Joe Biden, I see this guy and he creeps me the fuck out. Like the way he touches kids and shit. He's
Yeah,
still fucking around. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So
yeah,
these
bro.
people are still around. And that's what I'm saying. And why would Obama want to do it, or why would any person on the left want to do that? Would be because what's the oldest saying in the world, man? Keep your friends close, keep your enemies even closer. You get an understanding of these people. You control the people. You get an understanding on how the right feels. You get an understanding of what they're angry. I don't know, man. It's a theory because obviously it is. But I look again at anything that is completely one sided. I look at it as bullshit. And if it's bullshit, there's a reason behind the bullshit because it's popular. A lot of people know about it. QAnon has been like in the news, they've been all over. Anything that has that much headline, they want you to have that much headline. There's a reason behind it, in my mind, in the way that my brain works. Because everything else is very well hidden if they want it hidden.
Hmm.
Like I feel like information that they want to sleeks out, and then the information that sleeks out is typically not a big deal. They make an explanation, the shit gets forgotten about, people move on. You really can't explain it. I mean,
So okay. So, hmm, so basically, you're saying, and again, I'm just reiterating, you're saying that this disinformation campaign to smear essentially nothing but Democrats, because that's who is going after the liberal left. This
mhm.
conspiracy by Barack Obama, it is to cause division to do what? To promote the Trump presidency?
Just cause division in the country. Because if you get division in the country, what is the biggest thing? United we stand, divided we fall. It's even in our dollar bills. So if you divide the country, which has been very dividing since the last election, the Democrats obviously did nothing to really win, right? I mean, they got fucking Joe Biden up there.
That's true.
um, losing his fucking mind,
Yeah.
and you're just shaking shit up. You want to shake up the left and you want to shake up the right. Why do they want to shake shit up? I don't know, man. People are gonna go crazy after this. Who knows? Who knows what happens? But I mean, everything at the end of the day comes just down to restrictor laws. So I mean, I could see something happening where, all right, pretty heavy on guns, right? Like people on the right love guns, the pro guns. Okay. Nowadays we got
Right.
this shit coming up where people are going to these fucking protests with their assault rifles. I mean, how do we know people that do that shit? There has been situations we know that the government has done it where they actually go into a freaking peaceful protest and start making just start throwing shit, kicking shit, getting into fights, just stir things up to get the people in there to get it arrested. That's been proven, 100%. So if you get people from the far right to get upset enough on the far left that they decide that they want to do something with assault rifles, for instance, with a Second Amendment piece, for instance, then you have a reason there to take away that liberty or stricken it. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're throwing down, but link that to. I need you to get inside the brain of Barack Obama as to, because it almost sounds like what you're saying is he's trying to sow division by attacking his own quote unquote party. I fail to see how that hurts Trump at all.
Oh, okay. I'm not saying it hurts him. They're not playing that game, Joseph. That's the thing. Obama. Okay. You never answered my question.
What's your
What's your
question?
thoughts on Obama actually politically as a president? What's your thoughts on him?
I think Barack Obama was one of the worst presidents that I've ever experienced. I
Okay.
think that Barack Obama is a failure of a president for the black community specifically. I feel like he did a lot for a lot of other ethnicities and nationalities, but black folks got told, "I'm here, ain't I?" And that should be enough.
Yeah.
There's been,
It's hard being up here, you know. It's hard.
yeah, he basically bullshitted. He kowtowed, and he thought just because. I mean, you got to put this in perspective for African American like myself and many others. Barack Obama, he's considered the first black president. But let's take a look at this. His father is African. His mother is a white chick, I think from Kansas or something. And
Yeah, I don't know where, but he grew up in Hawaii.
so, what does he know about being a black man in America? Nothing. Nothing. His
Yeah,
only claim in legitimacy is that he's
from
light.
Chicago because he was a politician in Chicago.
He was a politician in Chicago, and he did community organizing in Chicago for what, 2 or 3 years? And he married Michelle, who got more clout. Michelle gives him clout, but he doesn't know what it's like. And that's how I knew it was bullshit. Because, like I said, if you put a brother up there, a real brother in the presidency, you would see a totally different dynamic. He wasn't one of us, and we knew that. A lot of black
Okay.
folks are like, he looks like one of us, so let's this is kind of just like the old Kamala Harris bullshit. She looks like she might be one of us, but she's not for us, and she isn't one of us. He was a Trojan horse, and I don't fuck with that. So
Okay.
that's my thoughts of Barack Obama.
Perfect. So now I just want to make sure there was no biases, so that's why I asked. But I mean, so you're on the same page. The
Yeah,
guy, whatever. But anyways, the reason I say he benefits is not just because he benefits, but he's a part of the political party. He's just a puppet, right? Like that's why he was able to become president. He did nothing that he said he was going to do. He bullshitted. He did what benefited whatever he had to do. He got paid good, and he's a puppet, right? So
yeah,
as a puppet, you're gonna do whatever a puppet does. And I'm not saying that it was Obama strictly. This is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is under Obama's administration, I gotta find it. I try to look for it, but then I gotta start talking. But under Obama's administration, there was an FBI group. I gotta find it. When I find it, I'll send it.
Oh, I know
That,
exactly who you're talking about. I just
that
want you to
basically,
expound on it. I know what you're talking about.
yeah. So that QAnon was a psyop, and like I said, the reason of that would be, I believe, specifically for gun rights. The Democrats have been very hard on those gun rights, and what's gonna happen is, like I said, they don't really want to win this election. I don't believe so, but they're gonna let something happen there, and it's going to be something of why Democratic should be in power. And then here comes the person that very socialist or whatever leaning, and that's what I see happening. They want to take guns. It's been shown.
Yes,
How
absolutely.
would you take guns if you divide the country and the country fights for a little bit, or whatever issue happens, or you get some brawls, or you get some shootings, or something happens because of right wing activists going way too far? Because we know those people exist that are on the right that are just way too fucking nuts. We know those people exist. Straight up Trump, man. Like, they believe on this motherfucker, bro. Just like you said, like, he's like a religious person that's gonna help the world.
Right.
They believe as Trump is like American straight go get him Jesus, bro. You know what I mean?
It
so
does seem like that.
so when you get people that strong on that ideology, and you get the most craziest people in the nation on the right with crazy amounts of guns and love their guns and love their freedom, and you get them to really believe this shit, how much of that can you control? It's
Yeah.
all speculation, but how much of that can you control?
Well, hmm.
He said,
Like, that's a good question. I mean, let's take that into consideration. We know
okay.
there's almost a religious fanaticism around Trump. Trump is what we would classically call a magus. Trump is a magus, right?
Yeah,
He is almost like a magical personality. There's been many maguses in history. Most leaders are maguses because they have the ability to coalesce masses of people with their charisma, and it would seem almost supernatural. So yes, Trump is a magus, and he has a somewhat religious following. But here's an interesting thing that I find interesting, and I got to give credit to Super Sly 75 on this. He said, if there was ever the poor white folks in America have been the last bastion and protection for gun rights in the country. If you think about that for a second. The poor, the poor whites have and consistently champion the Second Amendment and keeping those rights intact. Where we have the liberals, we have other folks that have been victims of gun violence who want all those things taken away. What's an example of them trying to do that? Sandy Hook. We all remember that, right?
yep.
They tried to take everything away, didn't let it happen. You have these isolated murders. You have these snuff films of all these black men getting shot by a lot of these bad actor white folks and a whole bunch of other people.
Vegas.
These are things. Yeah, Vegas. Yeah, Vegas. Orlando. The gay
Don't forget
club.
Vegas. Vegas was one of the biggest ones, bro. Like, they're
Yeah,
they were ready to. But okay, bro. When's the last one? When's the last time one happened? Why do these things happen when they need to happen? It seems
bro.
like.
Exactly. They're very convenient.
So, go ahead. What's your point? Yeah.
The last one, I mean, if are we talking about mass shootings?
You were just talking about basically white people, like the bottom. Why would they?
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So basically, as much as there's a disdain and they're called deplorables, and trust me, I mean, I'm a brother. I know what it is, but Super Sly 75, a black man, he said, um, if it ever comes down to a civil war or people versus the government, the white folks, the poor, disenfranchised white folks, are going to be the ones riding. They're the ones with the guns. They're the ones that already have the inherent distrust of the country. And that's why those are the people that need to, quote unquote, be appeased by the government and sedated. Because if you can do that, then those are going to be the people out there fighting and that put up the most threat. So these are the people. So if you disenfranchise these people, if you alienate these people, you'll never ever be able to pass any sort of wide gun control, gun rights laws. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. But you don't know that
Right. That's true.
because if there's a big enough thing, it would happen. If it doesn't happen, just the thought of it happening will bring enough riot from people. And then when you get enough riot, there might be a mess, but after you clean up the mess, this is why we have to take away these rights, guys. This is why. We don't
Yeah.
want this to ever happen again. And we're going to talk about this in all our schools. And we're
Right.
going to make sure this never happens again.
You make your kids do gun drills. We're gonna let
Exactly.
you.
Fear driven. Again,
You're
the
right.
negative side, right? So I
You,
mean,
you brought it full circle. Fear. You're right.
it's how they get us, man. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, I hear it. I hear it in people. I hear it in their tone. I hear when they talk about it. Like they are very afraid about it. And if you get enough people to feel that way, then people, because on the left, they're very vocal what they want. They're kind of on the successful side too. People on the right seem to be like more business people, go-getters.
Yeah.
Just I'm being obviously very broad brush here. I'm not, obviously not doing that, but just if you take 10 people from each side, that's typically what you get. Like there's successful people on the left, and I mean, and there's a lot of like business owners on the right, right?
Right.
So it's
I think that'd be fair to say. People on the right, the conservatives, appear to be more self-starters, quote unquote, business entrepreneurial minded, whereas the liberals, quote unquote, the high-ranking liberals are of the same ilk, but the average liberal is your, feminist college student, millennial or older that believes that no, there should be no guns, that we should be that we should mirror the UK CCTVs, and only the only people that have guns or needs of guns should be the police officers. No one else
yeah.
has guns.
And I mean, that's the way it is, man. So I mean, and it's interesting because we're like one of the last countries that really are able to just have the right that we got. Like we got a crazy right, especially in some fucking states. So you can basically have a goddamn tank. You know what I mean? So I mean, we have an arsenal because we're allowed to, which also makes us a fucking country you really don't want to fuck with because you ain't fucking with a military. You're fucking with a nation.
Exactly. You got it, brother. And I know you got it, but that's brilliantly stated. A lot of these other countries, these governments don't trust their own citizens. So if it was every person in the country, most of us are strapped. So you ain't just gonna come over here and take over. It ain't just gonna be, oh, we decimated this platoon or this region. We're good. Nah, citizens got guns. You gonna get that work. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you seen Afghanistan? Those guys had fucking soda pops and shit they were making bombs with. Imagine what we got. You
Right,
know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like it's not even fucking fair.
right.
If you were worried about their IEDs, you must be concerned about the shit that's set up over here. These motherfuckers got full electrician degrees, you
Exactly.
know? But it's that, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like there's certain things that and you control people with fear, and that's how they take away rights. So I'm just saying that I believe that QAnon could be a little bit of that because I see it like the people on the right are very crazy about that following, and they don't check their shit. They just look it up and they're like, dude, I'm telling you, man, Trump, he's gonna fucking drain the swamp, man, and they're
Right.
gone. They're fucking gone, man. That's it. Yeah, bro, for sure, man. Yeah, believe that shit.
Yeah, that is exactly what I hear too. That's exactly what I hear. And it's interesting. They're getting played, we're getting played, everybody's getting played, right?
Yeah.
Every, everyone's getting played. What has happened? What has the Trump administration done? Let's put this in perspective. From the child sex trafficking point of view, his administration touts that they've put more child molesters and pedophiles in jail than any other presidency. Technically true. Technically true, right? Technically true from the aspect of um, from that. Now, what else has happened? Jeffrey Epstein, right? Now,
Jeffrey Epstein, yeah.
Epstein's been operating pretty carte with extreme carte blanche up to the Trump presidency. He gets booked, busted. He gets about to talk, they kill him in jail. Boom, right? Say it was a suicide. Right? You have a situation where more information is coming about what do they do. See, people think they just take these kids and they just disappear, and no one knows what happens to them. A lot of them are sold into those child sex slavery. A
Dude,
lot
I'm
of
pretty sure a lot of them are fucking experimented on.
Yeah, exactly. Experimented on. A lot of them are tortured for their adrenochrome. A lot, people don't. That's a big thing there. That adrenochrome, that and those rituals, like
What do
the
you mean by
Disney
that?
kids, huh?
What do you mean by that?
The rituals. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's probably a video for this. So there's these things called child sexual abuse rituals or SABs or something. Child sexual abuse, something like that. And basically, what they do, they kidnap kids or take kids or buy kids. Sorry, I got the hiccups. And sorry, what they'll do is make the kids kill things. They sexually assault the children. They will make the children eat human flesh. They'll make the children drink blood. They'll make the children do all sorts of things. They mentally and physically torture the children. And then what they do is they cut the children in certain areas and ways that creates this sort of drug in the blood that gets people high. And that's what adrenochrome is. It's the chemical that is produced when you torture a child or a person. That's why you ever hear about a vampire or a beast in a movie or cartoon that says, "I like my prey to be frightened," or you ever hear a monster talk about, "I like to scare my prey before I eat it,"
Yeah, yeah, I
because
heard.
it tastes better. It's there. It gets them high. There's a high and we don't eat people. You know what I'm saying? We don't drink motherfuckers' blood, so we wouldn't know that shit. But these people in these societies and these rituals, that's all they do. You think about a classic Satanist, right? The motherfuckers drink blood. You're like, man, what the fuck is going on there? But we didn't know that if you torture somebody, they're gonna release some sort of uh, chemical in their
Probably
blood.
like some type of like yeah, some type of chemical, yeah.
Motherfuckers get high off that shit. And children it's more potent. That's why they take the children, among other things.
Yeah, it's crazy. Another interesting, not cool, it's not cool at all, but it's interesting. Another interesting thing with that is like how the Bible even talks about like people that go against children is like the worst thing possible.
Absolutely.
But how much people do it is like what is with like the but I mean there obviously there's a lot because the children is so valuable. They're going through so many things. They're the first generation of what becomes a human. Like there's these little sponges, right? They learn everything. I've
Right.
had them. I know, but they they've been doing that shit for so long. I mean, like the Nazi thing, like then children, babies, those were the ones, and the
Oh
older
yes.
people, all the
Yeah.
people that couldn't work. Those
Let's
always
pivot
have been the
into that.
target.
Let's pivot into that. Yeah. Keep going. Let's pivot into that. I like that.
But I mean, like those are just like things that have been going on for so long, and I mean, it's like, I mean, is it enough reason to make you question why is there always these kid adoption, adoption, abductions? Like to me, that's fucking horrible. I could be in the worst state of my fucking life, but I mean, why would you want to take that out on a kid? What's a kid got to do with anything?
Right.
It's a new human being. Don't know shit about the world. What are you doing? Why are you trying to hurt a kid?
Right.
Like, why would your sick mind want to do that? I mean, people have hurting kids not because they want to, but for emotionally, whatever, but not wanting to completely fucking dismantle and eat a children. That's pretty fucked up. Or even
Well,
cut one up.
here's the thing, and you make a powerful point. Why would a human being want to do that? A human being would not want to do that. But if you are dabbling in magic, all these other things, communing with spirits, being possessed, those are things that non-humans may do. That knowledge that, I mean, listen, prime example with the adrenochrome. What human said, I'm going to torture this person and then drink their blood? Oh shit, I'm high as fuck. This shit is good. That's not a normal human process. Someone or something had told somebody that. Someone or something said, hey, I need you to sacrifice these children to me, and I will give you power. The blood, drink the blood. Something told these people to do that. These are
Makes
things
sense.
that aren't naturally occurring, and that's why you got to be careful with it.
You hear it in your head, yeah.
Yeah. So you see on the screen, I brought up the Stranger Things, right? This was
Yeah.
my first. When you sent me that article about, or the file, when you put me on to the file about the Mars exploration, the first thing I thought about was Stranger Things and L, right? Because
Great
if
pivot. Okay.
have you ever seen Stranger Things?
I have seen Stranger Things. That is actually a show I have watched.
Okay, good. So you know, or you remember this scene. Let's see here.
That's a trippy fucking show for real, but yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a lot of things in there.
Well, this is gonna seem verbatim familiar, and that's how you know it's actually real and it's part of the program, right? So let's see. So we both watched the um let's see here. I'm trying to find a good clip because I think it's very, very I think it's very, very important. Okay, maybe it's this one. Sorry, bear with me, brother.
Nah, you're good, bro. I know looking for shit online can be a trip sometimes. But the remote viewing, Mars exploration, I'm sure this is gonna tie into there beautifully. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's exactly what that's exactly what when you sent that to me. That's the first thing I thought about.
This was
What?
the first thing.
Yes, that was the first thing. I'm like, she's remote viewing, just like 11. That I'm like, that's exactly what was going on. That's my take on that. That person was part of the MK Ultra, and that person has more advanced powers than what 11 was displaying, and can actually travel back and forth through time, remote view through time and space. That's what I think. Is that what the conclusion you came up through?
I mean, basically, it was it was basically kind of the conclusion that I went to because it's something like to do with that type of time frame, right?
Right.
But okay, how do you think it goes though? Like how do you tie this in with that again? Like just like
Okay.
can you dumb it down for me a little bit?
Okay. Let me see here. It'll be good if I can find the clip. 11, Stranger Things. Uh, listen. Hours. Let's see. Let me see here. Maybe it'll be testing.
Because the way that I kind of viewed it, like while
Yeah,
you're looking that up, was like, okay, remember the DM? Did you ever hear about Alex Jones and the fact of DMT and NTDs? And people just, like reaching out to these entities and going to this other like dimension. Have you ever heard about that story?
yeah. I watched the Joe Rogan,
Oh yeah,
Alex,
we talked about this numerous of times. Yeah.
and I have heard the effects of DMT and seeing extra dimensional entities, stuff like that. Yeah,
So it kind of made me think of that, like that scenario, because I mean, we have been able to understand through science that there is different dimensions in the universe that we live up to. I believe it's 12 is the number. And we obviously can't go through all the dimensions. So when you take DMT, supposedly it goes to another dimension. We all have it in our system. So I feel like that remote viewing and all that stuff is kind of a form of getting into a place where you can do shit like this. Like there's something in the brain that you can.
right.
But here, as you're playing this,
No, you could talk while we're doing it because that's exactly what's going on. So basically, what the guy was doing in the that guy may have been on some DMT or something, but exactly
Mhm.
what's happening here, this remote viewing.
Yep, and they're taking them to the place to see everything. Yep.
Exactly. So this was and this came out. This was the first season. So this is really telling here because this tells you everything in that 1984 document was exactly a verbal representation of what we're seeing on the screen.
Yeah.
That person, that handler, the interviewer, is invoking either the person's psychic abilities while under DMT, born with those psychic abilities, given those abilities somehow, trained with those, whatever. Point is,
Whatever it is, but you're getting these abilities. Yeah.
yes. And that person goes to this realm and is able to cross time, space, hear, speak to those different entities, different things. Like you said, if you read we both read the document. The
Yep.
dude
How it
was
spoke with them. Yeah, he
talking
was
to
spoken with
aliens
them.
about 1,000 to 2,000. Who
No,
knows?
a million years ago, it
Billion.
said. A million years ago in Mars. Yeah. So there's another theory that ties into that specifically, and we'll touch into that. But this whole remote viewing thing is very interesting because, like, there's a couple of documents that have been leaked that basically have gone to say that we do have this able source to do this, but we don't hear nothing about it. We don't know about it. It's just kind of, it's like a theory. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, it's probably true, but we don't,
Now, when you say source, what do you mean exactly?
like, what I mean is like there's been sources of like documents, like obviously what we just
Oh,
saw here, like there is documents, but then obviously the counter to this is that, oh, this is misinformation to make the Soviet Union during the Cold War spend money and shit just to give money out. That's the theory behind why this could be wrong and disinformation. But that is just too simple. Like, have you ever heard about the theory? Now I'm going to go to it a little bit, change a little like switching gears, but still on the same subject. But that how we're not the first civilization to be on Earth.
yes.
So basically, like before Noah's Ark, obviously there was the flood, and that they're saying it was around like 10,000 BC. There was a catastrophic in the Earth in 10,000 BC, and then obviously the decline in population to about 4,000 BC is when we start tracking hunter gatherers, right?
Right.
So before 10,000 BC, though, we have it has been heard that maybe there's an ancient civilization that we don't know about that was already maybe here, wherever, but there's already information that we just don't know. But whatever, like Egypt being maybe before, right? Like I'm pretty sure underneath the oceans we can find some shit. But anyways,
Hmm.
if we got some type of remote viewing,
We
I
could
don't know.
see.
I feel like we could see that shit, right? I mean,
Right.
and who's to say they don't know this either, you know? So it's just very interesting. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if that Mars thing, like, it just blew my fucking mind.
It blew my
It blew
mind
my
too.
fucking mind. I was reading there. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like,
Right.
what am I reading? Like, I was looking at it. I got off of it and I had to look at it again. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It doesn't even make sense. How would that be? You know, like, it made me think.
Well,
It's,
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, don't apologize. It's just wild. It's just basically what I was going to say. It's just wild.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting as well. I think that there's a couple of different ways. I've heard that there are physical ways to time travel, aka time traveling your physical body with your soul inside. But usually, the way people time travel is through their soul. So, what is the difference between astral projection and remote viewing? And I think it's how you get there. Because what I think happens is if you astral project while you're asleep, or if you gotten to the point where you have that type of spiritual power, meditative mind power to do that, then I think you can go to different dimensions and or different places across the planet. I think where it gets into the remote viewing, the difference is that that type of astral projection um, transfers your consciousness. So I think astral projection transfers or frees your subconscious and allows it to move freely. And I think remote viewing allows you to bring your conscious with you and take it through the astral realm. And I think maybe through the availability of drugs and or you know MK Ultra mind control, whatever, it allows you to maintain the semblance of being within this realm in retention.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I could say this, though, bro. As I hear you talk and I hear myself,
Hmm.
how many people do you think on this earth would hear this and say, "Get the fuck out of here"?
A lot.
Like, like if you had to give a percentage, let's just say we got
I
100%
would
people who say,
say a good 95 to 93% would say get the fuck out of here.
yeah, right. Like, no matter what.
But you got to think about this. The people that are saying get the fuck out of here, do they have any sort of understanding of these advanced subjects and concepts? And that's the
Mhm.
question. 93 to 95% of people don't.
That is true.
95 to 93 to 95% of people don't know how to save effectively. They don't know how to uh, uh, delay gratification. They don't have attention spans past 10 to 15 seconds. You know, the overall fitness mentally, spiritually, and physically of the people on this planet, or at least in the United States, has been waning uh, on a constant decline. So if someone says get the fuck out of here, before that used to hold water, hold weight, but now it's like, okay, well you just don't know, you just don't get it. Like,
No, I get it. It's like, yeah, you just don't know, you just don't get it. And it's kind
yeah,
of hard to break somebody through that force, but it's just interesting because, like, as we had these conversations, like you said, that's what makes it so even more interesting to get into. Because you're like, dude, like, I don't know, like people should know more of this, and I feel like this is cool. Why we do this, have these
right,
conversations, because they're great ideas, and I mean, people should know more. As humans, I feel like sometimes entertainment just fucks us up.
right, because it does our
Like,
thinking for us. It forms our opinions
yeah,
for us.
it informs our opinions, it forms us as humans, it forms our brain, it makes us, yeah, it fucks with people, and
Right.
it fucks with your truths, and it's it's a crazy thing. But I don't know, man. The whole Mars exploration, that shit blew my mind. I mean, I have heard the idea. Yeah, Mars was a great planet beforehand, and then it basically dried out, and we skipped over to Earth supposedly. Who knows?
Well, it's definitely possible. I've heard of a few different theories on Mars, but um,
What have you heard with it?
oh shit. Okay, well, one theory is that humans were used to be a multi planet species or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
there were humans on Mars or other beings on Mars, but there was a nuclear cataclysm that essentially what could have happened here happened on Mars. Mess with electromagnetic pull or magnetic field of the planet, literally blew a hole in the ozone, and everything. The ozone became so weak that imagine all the air gets sucked out into space.
Damn,
Everything
that sounds
dies.
horrible. I can
Yes,
see that happening too.
everything dies.
Yeah, I
Or
mean, you fucking your ozone. That's fucked. I mean, that part in Australia. How's that place?
yeah, exactly. So that's one idea. The other idea is that people that Mars isn't as barren as we think, could just be a hologram that of what we see on the outside, and there's structures on Mars like the guy said in the remote viewing that was in 1984, and even millions of years in the past, if you believe the man's report and interview, there's mugs on Mars. There's tall, humanoid, human-like people, big people that have always been on Mars. Either they're
Didn't they say they
underground.
have pyramids on Mars as well, or something like that?
Yeah, they got pyramids on Mars.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And if you learn about ancient cosmology, you find out that pyramids are nothing but power stations. So that's why you
Yeah,
see
I
people.
have heard about that as well. Basically, power stations and how Egypt used to probably have power. If the fact of it is true, is that it was an ancient civilization, then that was their power source. Because I mean, just my bad. I completely cut off, but it made my mind think, and I apologize. But
Oh, go for it, bro.
the deserts in Egypt, imagine what's underneath them.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point because the Sphinx was the all the pyramids were actually buried. They were
They were
un.
buried. They were
You're
under,
right.
yeah,
You're right.
in
Hmm.
Mexico City, one of the tallest buildings of the world, supposedly at the time when I was there as a kid,
Yeah.
is underneath the Capitol. It's underneath the Capitol Church. There's the top part of a building of a pyramid.
Damn. That was a
So
power.
there's a pyramid in the bottom of Mexico City. Can't completely excavate it because it's in the bottom of Mexico City.
Right.
But there's a
But if
pyramid there.
you could, you would. Wow.
I mean, in the oceans, we don't really travel the oceans. What's in the bottom of the ocean? Imagine if there was just a big shift in the world where there was a flood. Who knows where everything was? They say part of California used to be oceans. That's why you see those big ass boulders.
Could be very true. Yeah.
That's been the theory, right? That California used to be oceans, all the deserts and all that shit. So what if this all flipped?
Well,
I
I
mean,
could believe that because Antarctica is starting to throw out, and people underestimate the size of Antarctica. Antarctica is bigger than it's almost as big as all of the continents combined. It's such a huge landmass. People have no idea how big it is. It's humongous. It's unfathomable.
all
How
under ice.
so you could imagine and that like if this part of the world froze and Antarctica unfroze, you'd see some pretty strange and interesting things too.
Is it in Antarctica too, where like 8 or 7 different nations own a property as well for scientific research?
Yep, that's absolutely correct. And they say it's a free place for anyone can go, but a lot of people get stopped if they go too far inland.
Oh, it's because that's part of another nation. Can't do that.
Exactly.
Stick to your boundaries, motherfucker.
Right. But you said it, but it's another nation, but not a nation that most people are aware of. Aha.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's it's fucking nuts, man. I mean, there's just so much shit like that we just don't know, but nobody questions it because we're so used to what we've been fed as kids through science, through readings. I mean, you can't even have this conversation. That's the fucked up part.
Right.
You can't have this conversation in a place like at school where you go to fucking some real big fucking college and you try to have this conversation with your professor.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. He's gonna say no. He's gonna say, dude, no, this is in the books. This is what it is. We're stuck to
Right.
this fucking book. And you can ask the question, no, because in 10,000 BC, it was this and it was this and it was this. You say it so certain like you were there, motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
These
I
are the
mean,
same motherfuckers that say Christopher Columbus discovered America. So we're saying
that was the best way put. That was the best way
fuck
put.
Africans. Really? Yeah, it was Christopher. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, I believe you.
Yeah.
That was the best way put. Yeah, these are the same motherfuckers. No, but I mean that's what it is, man. I mean it's fucking crazy because I mean how much of that knowledge could help us as humans?
Right.
As humans, like if we got all this shit together and we knew so many secrets of the world, like and we knew what it could be to maybe have a fucking society where you can have people work and shit like that and not have to have greed, it would be great. But you know, it's something that is still to see, and it's because of things like that are not being taught in a school basis, not even taught in anything because they teach us what they want us to learn. I guess is what
Yeah.
I could say.
You're right. Misinformation, disinformation. Right. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
exactly. And then you kind of stick somebody with a plot of, hey, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna do this, and you're gonna do that. And like I said, you don't even have time to think about anything else because you're in a survival state your whole life.
Boom. Yes, sir. Survival mode. Yes, sir.
You're in survival mode. Your thought process is not, your thought process is off. If you're in survival mode, your fucking thought is on fucking survival. I gotta live.
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
mean,
if you think about it, if we put this in perspective, there when in the 1940s when they thought we'd have flying cars by 2000, there's no reason why. I mean, we all know the military has the technology, but there's no reason why we couldn't have had that in the 1970s. There's no reason why we couldn't have flying cars in the 1930s with Nikola Tesla. If we had
yeah,
adopted that ideology of or that if technology had went with Tesla over Edison, do you know how far we'd be? It would be something out of a sci-fi movie right now,
yeah. I mean, we would have fucking energy without cables.
right? And now the big thing, wireless. Like okay,
Could have been.
I got you, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
um,
They're like, man, they talking that good shit. Let's get rid of
no, but yeah, like you said, man, we could have been done at wireless if Tesla was able to do what he was doing.
it. Right.
And then they take the man's research, and it's nuts.
Well,
But
what's the interesting thing that they took his research, but the Tesla family actually has ties to the Trump family. Did you know that?
no, I do not. So which one?
Nikola Tesla. So the story goes, or the information, I can pull it up. But basically, one of Trump's family members, a while ago, in the Tesla age, I think he owned the apartment building that Nikola Tesla was rented.
Hmm.
He had became friends with Tesla. I think he was either the landowner's owner or something. He became friends with Tesla, and Tesla trusted the guy with all of his research. And when Nikola Tesla died, guess who has that research? that Trump, and a lot of people think this is a conspiracy. A lot of people think that's why Trump is a time traveler, because Nikola Tesla, who created time machine, as well as free energy, a whole bunch of other devices and patents, they believe that basically that Trump relative.
John C.
Yeah, go ahead, go hit it,
No,
go
I'm
ahead.
asking you, is that who? John C.
John C. Trump, is
Yeah.
that what it says? If that's what it says, yeah,
No, go ahead. So keep going with you. So I got John C. Trump here, but go ahead. Just
yeah,
wanted to give a name. If I'm
yeah,
wrong, let me know.
yeah. No, let me see here. But yeah, that's the let's say John C. Trump. He's the one that was cool with Tesla, got the patents, got all the work from the guy's apartment after he was ridiculed and untimely excommunicated from the scientific community and died. And a lot of people think Trump is a time traveler because there's a whole bunch of books written about Trump's life. Like there's a book out that came out like in the 1930s talking about Donald Trump and talking about his son, Barron Trump. I'm like, how the hell are you going to talk? Unless it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, how would they know? They talk. It's a book called The Last President, and they say Donald Trump is going to be the last president. And the book came out in the 1930s or something like
Mm,
that. So a lot of people think he had the time travel technology, and that was funded, and there may be something going on there. That's why maybe a lot of people think that Trump may actually be a wild card, so to speak.
could be. Yeah, I'm seeing here on the History Channel. History.com, it says any idea has a significant value. According to the declassified files, Dr. John G. Trump reported that his analysis showed Tesla's efforts to be primarily of speculative, philosophical, and promotional character, and said that papers did not include new, sound, workable principles or methods for realizing such results. So it looks like they did know each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that part is true. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely verified, and the crazy thing is, well, nothing's crazy in this world now. Uh, all the things we thought that were crazy actually turned out to be either true, partially, or completely. So I don't say anything's crazy now. But the interesting thing is that a lot of people do think there are time travelers. All the different.
No, I've heard the theory. I mean, I've heard it. I've heard it multiple times. I've never really believed it, to be honest.
Well, what's interesting is you hear if you're into like spiritualism, stuff about your expanding consciousness and stuff. Some people say normal people can time travel by putting positive intent and vibes out there. So
Makes sense.
this is the idea about deja vu. Some people believe deja vu is your future quote unquote self, even if you believe time is linear. But you almost want to believe that there's no such thing as linear time. So every moment is happening at the same point in time at all times. So there's there's GS now, and if GS now remembers a specific point in time or wants to send positive vibes to 6-year-old GS, he can do so by just thinking positive. There's something he regretted and wanted to change in his past, quote unquote, he can do it. He can
Hmm.
send that, and that's some people believe that's what deja vu is. That it's your future self, quote unquote, sending you information to recognize a situation and possibly do something different.
Interesting. It could be. I mean, that is interesting. Like dreams and all that shit. All of it's a big question mark. So I
Yeah,
mean, like you said, you can never rule anything out, and it's one of those things that whoever knows that information.
right. And one of the things that kind of prove that, and I don't know if you can prove it, but that time there's no such thing as linear time. I mean, the ancients believe there's no such thing as linear time. They believe that everything's happening all at the same time, same moment.
Yeah.
God has a concept of time like that, that everything is happening all
Well,
at
of
the same
course,
time.
even in the Bible it says everything that you do that you already thinking whatever, I know.
Exactly.
Like I know every single thing that you think that you can I'll think. Like I know you're gonna make that decision. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's in there. And I mean I do believe in that part of the sense. I mean I believe in all of it because I mean there's nothing not like you can't cancel anything out. But what I'm saying is like imagine to be the person to know how to specifically use that, right? Because I know that you could use it like even for your future self.
Right.
Like if you do like, hey, I'm gonna do, for the future, because of the future me and this particular time, I'm gonna be this person, and you're gonna envision that, and you're gonna work towards that goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. The
So like
past influences the future. Future influences the past. You're right. Yeah.
exactly. So I could totally see it because that happens. I mean, that's there. I've lived it. But what I'm saying is like if you know how to really fucking use that, that has to be very powerful. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean.
Oh yeah. You're absolutely right. And I'm sure, ancient cosmology, ancient knowledge, perhaps numerology, can increase those effects to being able to use that to a level that most other people can't. And that's
Yeah.
where power comes from.
And that's what power comes from. And it's like, what do you do with that power? How do you influence? What is your choices?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting world, man. That's all I gotta say. It's a lot more simple when you're a kid.
Yes, it is. I was saying that the other day. I'm like, man, believing in what I believed in as a kid was so easy because it's like I didn't know. All I needed to know was this, and this. And as you get older, you find out, well, maybe there's this angle, there's this angle, and then it's all about reconciling everything that you're learning and continue to learn and will learn with
Mhm.
what you knew as fact back then. And some
Yeah,
people are able to reconcile it to the day they die, and some people aren't. Some
some
people
people aren't.
get broken, some people lose it and gain it back, and some people lose it and find something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's like life is something. Actually, I remember one time I heard this theory, and it was just something I read. It was like a poem, actually. Ah,
Yeah.
God, I wish I screenshotted it. Um, but basically, what it was saying is like, what if we were every single human here on Earth, right? Like, just living it all in a loop, but we're all connected in the same thing, kind of like being one. Does that make sense? Like, at one time, I lived life through your shoes. At one time, I lived life through my kids' shoes. At one time, I lived life through Trump's shoes. Does that make sense? Have you ever heard of that?
No, throw that at me again.
So it was like imagine, because like we're all one, right? We're all connected.
Right.
Imagine something in the universe like what was a loop, and we've all like it's just one me, and I'm living it through all these people, but I've done it like in different ways. If you can, it's a
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
concept, but I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, so the
That's
concept was
God argument.
the what?
The God argument.
I don't know if it's a God argument because that's not how I read it. Like I said, it was a poem, but it was just saying like if we like imagine if we basically all lived this life. I lived your life, basically you lived my life type of deal.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. It was pretty cool. I was pretty high when I saw it, but just thought
Yeah.
about it because I was
No,
like,
there's definitely vibes to that. The
because I
reason
mean,
why,
like, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, the reason why I said it's the God argument because a lot of people believe that uh, all we are is just God splitting His consciousness in because we all have God in us, splitting His consciousness in all eventualities and all different peoples, and we are basically eyes and experiences for God to experience life and
Mm,
everything.
that's interesting.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I
now we go
mean,
back to the source, and we are. It's like completing a puzzle, right?
yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I don't know, but look, I could continue this conversation, man, but I think we're gonna have to do this another day.
For real, man. We've been on for a little
We've
minute.
been on for a little minute, but
19 minutes, yeah.
maybe what's it called? I'll start maybe my first episode sometime this weekend. Get
Yeah,
you on
bro.
there.
Yeah, bring me on, man.
Because yeah, man. I mean, we touched a lot of crazy shit. I mean, these are the conversations that I love having.
Yeah,
Next time, try to get some more of your friends on here. I'll get some people on. I got a guy named Adam. Let to kind of get him on and kind of see what we get. Get a little thing going.
yeah, we'll as they call it, we'll build together. We'll do a little building. And yeah, so maybe what we'll do today's Friday, maybe maybe we should try, or if you want to set it up, maybe how much do we know every Friday at from 5 to either 5, you said 5 is good, or 4.
Yeah, 5 would be great.
Okay, so we can do 5 to 6:30.
Yeah, 5 to 6:30.
Yeah.
Just kind of let it run it. I mean,
Yeah,
it'll go a little bit longer. I mean, always kind of run it, but I mean, it's
yeah,
gives
I
you.
don't mind. I don't mind going longer, but I'm like, if we, we can at least get a 5 to 6:30. That's a good hour and a half of building on. And if it goes longer, great. But if it doesn't,
Exactly. If
people
it doesn't,
stay
cool.
there Friday.
Yeah, and we'll start inviting more people, man. We'll just start trying to bring more people on here to just obviously socialize with us and kind of build on these ideas, so we're not the only ones talking, or me, because I think I talked a lot this one.
Yeah,
But what's it called? Just because this is how we build. Like you said, this is how we build. We express
exactly.
ideas. But I appreciate you having me on, man, once again.
Of
And
course, yes, of course, man. You are always welcome on this platform. Is there any plugs you want to do? Any business plugs? Anything? Anybody want?
any business plugs? Well, shoot, I mean, if you live in Illinois, you live in Texas, you need solar panels, let me know. Other than that, that's it.
Brother doing solar? Know some solar? So,
But
he said he got the light body. He said he got the light body for y'all.
exactly. But that's it, man. All right, you have a good night, man.
All right, GS. Be easy, brother.
You
Always
too,
a
bro.
pleasure.
Same. Later.
GS is a good guy. Very good guy. So, yes, as you all heard, we are and were touching on some very wonderful, wonderful subjects. Um, so yeah, I'm about to wrap this up myself because I am hungry. Um, I would like to go ahead and plug a product here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. And I think you guys will like this. And I don't know if they're still taking orders, but Mother's Day is on Sunday. If you have not gotten your mother anything, um, do not fear, because there are options out here. So, I hope my mom's not watching this. This would be bad if she found out what her Mother's Day gift was. But anyway, check this out. This is Skin So Me by Free. And shout out to Skin So Me by Free. So as you can see, this is Skin So Free by Me. It is let's let her show. Mother's Day orders are being filled. Place your orders while supplies last. New specials will come post Mother's Day. If you purchase 2 or more, receive $5 off your purchase. And they're very reasonably priced. Let's go ahead and take a quick look.
All right. Professional quality products. Our delivery. Shop, 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 shop.
Definitely shop.
Right. Professional quality products. Our delivery. Shop, 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 shop.
Now, Skin So Me by Free are, again, special quality scrubs and other products. As you can see, here's some testimonials before and after, like night and day. Before, after, it will lighten up skin, revitalize skin areas, make you feel good, make you feel wonderful. You've got the pink paradise right here.
Here we go. In the workshop again. Pink paradise. Look at the quality.
Beautiful, beautiful quality.
In the workshop again.
There's this one. I believe there's 4 different ones.
Quality products.
I think that's the. So if we look here, I think this is the brown magic. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different kinds. So yeah, I went ahead and purchased, as you can tell, real quality products by a very brilliant sister. And these are all organic, all natural, of course. And as you saw with the testimonials and the photos, it's just good stuff. So if you're looking for any last minute Mother's Day gifts, or you want to gift yourself something or gift a sister or anyone else, definitely check her out. This is her Facebook page, Skin So Me by Free. And she's just, very good energy, very good vibe. Trust me, and tell her that Real Talk, Real People sent you. And again, you can take advantage of $5 off if you order or purchase 2 or more. So let her know, call her now, and make your mama happy. Make yourselves happy, because I can tell you this stuff smells so good. I mean, let me see here. Dude, am I gonna cam up for y'all? Am I gonna cam up? Am I gonna cam up? I'm gonna look pretty rough. Okay. Not too rough. I'm not looking too rough. Okay. So check this out. And I'm not really this red. I don't know why it's this red. So I've got my Skin So Me by Free. Excellent packaging. Excellent packaging. So I decided to go crazy. I mean, I don't know if my mom's gonna get all of these. Shit. I might keep one. You know what I'm saying? So I've got the Tea Love right here. This is the Tea Love. I don't know. There's a camera filter. Like I said, it's not this red. I don't know if you can see the brightness of the camera, but the Tea Love smells amazing. That smells good. That smells good. That smells good. It makes me tingle a little bit, actually. Dang, that smells good. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, this is clearly the Pink Paradise. This is the Pink Paradise. Yeah, it's Pink Paradise. So mom's definitely going to like this. And, I don't know much about bath scrubs or bath bombs, but this is good quality product. I can definitely tell. So I got all 4 of them. And like you said, I just love supporting small business and Black business. I think it's very important, especially during these times where, a lot of people are losing jobs. A lot of people don't have much. We got to support our own, because at the end of the day, we can't always rely on huge companies to supply jobs for us. We got to have enough of an infrastructure and trust for each other to be able to go out, branch, follow our dreams, and make something of ourselves. Open our minds and our hearts, and people acknowledge that, see the worth in it, and support us. Because if you support them, they're going to support you. And then it just becomes a big whirlpool of just great intentions, wonderful products, great ideas, great inventions, great designs just flowing from your mind and manifesting right in front of you. It's a beautiful thing. When you start manifesting and building and creating from here, it all starts right here. So, Skin So Me by Free. Check them out. You can still get it. Mother's Day up. My mom doesn't watch my stuff anyway, so I think I'll be straight. All right, y'all. This has been Real Talk, Real People. This was my promo plug. If you guys have any promotions or like any of your products plugged before, in the middle, or at the end, of any of these streams, broadcasts, or shows, message me and we will go ahead and make sure that gets done. Hope everyone has a wonderful Friday evening, wonderful weekend, wonderful Mother's Day. Kiss her and give her a hug for me. And as always, this is Current Events. This is Real Talk, Real People. Context is everything, and keep it real.